Well, welcome to the show, guys. We are here doing the top news of 2018, and we are with Juho from Camera Rescue at the camera store in Tampere, Finland, doing basically, what's been the most important news. I did one last year, thanks to Camera Rescue. We did top news of 2017, and 2018 has been even better in terms of news for the film photography. There are some bad news, but most of things have been a good turnover towards the positive side. So, Juho, you can start with the first top news.
Well, the biggest news obviously is that Kodak has brought two big old familiar names from the film times back, Ektachrome and P3200, both in 2018.
Yeah, we've had Ektachrome and, as you say, P3200, which is a T-Max black and white, come back only in 35 millimeter format.
Yeah.
They do say that they might study making it 120. And I know Ektachrome, they're pushing for sheet sizes because a lot of people want to see a different option to Fuji, because Fuji on the other side, and is the second probably news, is Fuji has discontinued all their black and whites.
Yeah. And a lot of the cheap films, so Superior, what is also Agfa Vista, which is Superior. So there's a lot of the kind of cheapo films have gone for maybe different kinds.
I think we've had the Agfa Vista, the Agfa Precisa CT, which was Provia.
Yeah.
Agfa, Fuji, Superior 200, 400, 1600. I think some of them are still found in the market. I know in the US you can find Superior 200. But the news is that basically the Fuji is slowly discontinuing again in 2018, most of their emulsions, totally leaving the black and white market, even though there was a rumor that maybe they wouldn't stop. But so far, the news is that they're still cutting down film.
Yeah.
But then we have a good film of another film that's been just funded at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think it was 3 or 4 days before the end of the year, the Peel Apart... what do you call it?
Peel Apart film. One Instant. Came back thanks to Super Sensa and Florian Caps, also known as Doc. They made a Kickstarter. They've funded it. Hopefully, they'll be shipping during 2018, and they'll be working on continuing production, because one of the things that a lot of people were concerned was that they were using legacy products.
Yeah.
But they're also going to be working towards new products to, make peel apart film. So those people with land cameras, with the 405 backs for 4x5, don't throw them away. Keep them, because prices will probably go back up in that. And that is probably the next news, is the prices of cameras.
Yes. Most cameras, or like the most desirable cameras, they've doubled in a year, which is very much money. X-Pan used to be 2,000 euros last year, or 1,500. Now it's 3,000 euros in Europe and 4,000 euros in Asia, basically. So it's and there's the same happens with Mewtwo's, Contaxes.
The market has basically almost doubled. What basically I think is a good news, and you guys have a Camera Rescue and a camera store.
Yeah.
So you see prices going up and down and what happens.
Yeah.
The good news is the more the prices rise, the more there'll be maybe someone willing to keep on repairing cameras, keep on, putting them in the market, not just throwing them in the trash. And those cheap cameras that used to be the MJUs and things like that were $15 in the secondhand market now are 150, 200 euros.
Yeah.
And it's good to see the Contaxes have gone up the sky. But there's still a lot of cheap cameras to work, and that's something that I think you guys see a lot. You see a lot of consumers wanting entry-level cameras that don't have to be the popular cameras.
Yeah, I mean, it's... there are a lot of cameras that you can still get for 20 euros or 50 euros. There's a lot of like 90s SLRs. There's a lot of 90s compacts which have nothing in like problem-wise. What we've noticed this year too is that we are hitting the cap of kind of the older generation of cameras, which is like they were serviced last time in the 90s, something from the 80s or the 70s or before that. and now the service time is coming again. So it used to be in 2015, everything you kind of found was okay. Now, like most of the items that they come here to the camera rescue center need to be worked on. So it's that's, I mean, it's a positive news that we still have cheap cameras. I think we shouldn't complain about the prices going up, because it will just generate more demand and more commercial possibilities for shops to open up all around the world,
or new cameras,
or even new cameras, because I mean the X-Man is hitting the price that it was
sold new.
Yeah, so it's
one of the things we were talking when making these news was the Reflex camera, but it was 2017 news, even though 2018 is when it was supposed to ship. But like those kind of projects have been starting to flourish. One of the other news is the Mint RF70, which is a totally new developed camera. And as you guys in Camera Rescue see, shutters are a big issue. Mint managed to design their own shutter that syncs up to 1/500th of a second with flash, which is a really good thing. So Mint is back with a new camera. That's one of the good news. We interviewed them at Photokina. If you want to see that, we'll leave the link below.
And I think that's the kind of instant market has been a foregoer for the film market. It has done its revival almost 5 years or 10 years before the normal film market, which is a good sign that there is enough interest for actual proper new cameras, not just toys, to come into the market.
No, the thing is, we talked also is that Instax film is one of the highest selling items on Amazon every single year in all photography, digital or film. Those people that are getting those Instax cameras, and I've been using the Instax Mini, which I never thought I would like, has become very interesting to use. And that is like a leap to getting interested in film and knowing that there still exists, because one of the biggest things we all get is, oh, film's still made? Oh, I didn't know. And those cameras that everyone thinks don't work. So that's a good thing for Instax, seeing people like Mint making something for the higher end user, not only the toy cameras.
Yeah, and I think in a bigger sense, the 2018 has been a year of renewal in the industry. Even the last big names of the industry that used to like dominate everything have changed their perception, or they have to change. And Tetenal is obviously one big kind of news for the year. You know more about it.
Yeah, Tetenal basically, as I mentioned, I think it was just after Photokina in October, probably, because Photokina was during the end of the September, is in, money problems or insolvency problems. They're going through a whole changing the business, seeing what can work. That is probably one of the sad news also in 2018. They're not gone. They're working on it. They're still working. And I talk to them with factory almost every other week. So things are going forward. But yeah, seeing that film is coming back, and that is the positive thing. We saw at Photokina, Juho had a lot of talks at Photokina, and their mentality has changed. Now everyone's on the positive side. A lot of people that are running small businesses have a lot of passion for it. But still, we have to focus that, we got to keep on the good vibes, spreading the word, shooting film, developing our own film if we can, supporting people like Tetenal and other industry. Also, Adox is one of the companies that I support a lot. But that is one of the negative sides. But yes, they're still here. They are seeing a lot of increase in E6 sales thanks to the Ektachrome and other things like that. So yeah, that is one of the smaller bumps on the road 2018.
Yeah, but in a kind of whole picture, the small, passionate-driven boutique companies are popping up. Almost in every major city, there's now at least someone doing hand developing E6 black and white. The kind of mentality is changing. Obviously, we have still some of the old Minilab running companies and some of the old structures that have been slowly declining for 15 years, they're still there, but now there's much more space for boutique companies in all aspects of the industry.
We've seen boutique films like the Revolog, we've seen the Double Film, the Kono Film, and I'm forgetting a few. Now, who would say is bringing this thing, the Santa film?
Oh, well, Santa gave us a gift.
A film.
Yeah,
It's a new ISO film that's never been in the market as a 35 user.
Yeah.
Juho has kindly given me this Santa film, which we'll be shooting at Finland, which is very good to have a ISO 1000 because the sun is out and there's no sun. But yeah, those things are starting. We've seen big news in 2018, continuing 2017 is people pushing new projects with basically 3D printers and handcrafted like Oscar and Panomicron, camera dactyl, emotions and things like that.
Yeah, I mean it's they're like basically 1 to maybe 5 man shops popping up. Some of them are using the old tools like old scanners, the Fuji SP3000s or Noritsus, and using them in a different way, not giving like shitty results to the
just
to
basic scans, but finishing the scans.
Yeah, making the scans better, which make it easier for teens to just upload them on Instagram and
shoot, and we do the rest, kind of like the Kodak mentality.
Yeah. So they're like companies popping up on the left hand side, right hand side, everywhere. And that is like the future of analog, basically.
Well, as you all know, I do the news every week, or I try to do them every week. And every week there is something to have on the news. And sometimes they're minor updates, but there's been a lot of small news. People like the Stearman Press, where they're a handmade tank that's become so popular that now it's a current item in most stores. Things like the camera dactyl, the Intrepid cameras, all these little startups that are not becoming just startups, but they're continuing business. And there's, all these new ideas. There's space now. It probably is an easier time than ever to have a crazy idea and put it out in the market. And that's going forward. So that's probably one of the best things in 2018 is you don't need a huge investment and a huge team to bring an idea to life. And that in the film market has been noticed.
Yeah, and obviously there have been sad stories where Kickstarters have failed and people have lost their money. But then there are very, very, very many nice stories. And even in Photokina, there was maybe 10 booths from analog companies, which is the biggest number in many years. And companies were working together, not
against each other.
Yeah, which is something probably of the future also. So I'm very positive about the year.
Yeah, there was a lot of collaborations. I saw that too. Is like RZ Mago with their lab box. We're like, we're going to start shipping it soon. And Cinestil was like, well, let's collaborate. We'll do the Monobath and RZ Mago box. And there's been a lot of those collaborations. This Santa film is also a collaboration, which I don't want to discuss the details now because they'll be maybe down the road be said. But yeah, new things are coming. A lot of conversations started at Photokina and are continuing. I think there's a positive vibe, open communication and collaboration thing going on.
Yeah, and even worldwide that it's not just about having your city and ruling your city. It's about the community getting together in Facebook groups, which is also a thing of 2018 maybe.
Yeah.
That the size of the Facebook groups and how they're connecting people.
No, yeah, there's been an Instagram has become a humongous tool. Juho runs Camera Rescue Instagram, and they're growing numbers of like every city you go to, someone will want to say hello, meetups.
Yeah. Those
things are very positive. But yeah, I think 2018 has been great. I think in towards the positive news and some negative news, it hasn't been so bad. 2019 starts with a lot of energy, with a lot of good things in mind.
Yeah.
And we'll probably be reporting next year about 2019 good news. So yeah, guys, that is all for best of 2018 news here with Juho. So thank you, Juho, for having me here.
Yep.
And as always, if you have any questions, I leave the links to all these news on the bottom, and we'll be back to the weekly very soon. So yeah, thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.